Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where today we're celebrating the birthday of the late, great Kenny Rogers. Now, Kenny Rogers is one of the best musical storytellers ever, and that's a real talent. Because if you're trying to tell a story musically and it meanders, or it's overly complicated and intricate, or you make it boring, or you're not able to make it feel like it has a narrative flow, then you're not going to succeed. Now, Kenny was able to do all of the right things when it came to telling a story musically. A great sense of narrative flow established by the lyricism, a great sense of timing and pace. He chose songs that were really, really interesting in terms of the stories that they told. And many of them were very hardcore in the sense that we tend to think that sort of music associated with country and western tends to be a bit PG, but in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s, it most certainly was not. You could make a strong argument that country music of that time was far more explicit than anything on the normal pop charts or even in rock music. Now, Kenny Rogers actually started off in psychedelia, and his band, Kenny Rogers First Edition, had a hit early on with "Just Dropped In to See What Condition My Condition Was In." I'm sure you've heard it. It's been used in a lot of films. It had a lot of references to psychedelic substances of the time. And they had some really good album tracks, some really good deep cuts. The guy was talented across genres. And even though that first edition band remained sort of firmly rooted in the rock world, they did start to adopt more and more of a country and western sound over the years. One of the best singles that they had from those early days that leaned in that country direction was from 1969, and this is a really sad story song, and it's called Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town. One of the best story songs ever. You're just going, I don't want to give it away. You're going to have to listen to it. And you'll have to remember this was a big hit in 1969. So people were telling a lot of truth in musical form. And Kenny Rogers was absolutely one of the best at doing it. By the time he went solo in the mid 70s, there were so many great hits. Coward of the County from 1979, another one of those wonderful story songs. Love the World Away, another great one. And probably the most well known of all, the signature song of Kenny Rogers, another great story song, is The Gambler, with a lot of advice that I think of a lot because he really is telling you that gambling is a metaphor for life, because everything we do is a gamble, from waking up in the morning to going to sleep and leaving the house and all the things we do in between. So you have got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Wonderful stuff. And he was very prolific. His discography was very wide, surprisingly diverse. And again, it's these wonderful story songs that really made his career. The 70s and 80s were probably his most prolific decades. He put out everything from Christmas songs to country songs to rock songs, and many of these, of course, that have become the most well known did make it to the pop charts. And when he died in 2020, the world was really deprived of one of the very best storytellers, because storytelling in music is becoming less and less prominent. Now it's really just declaratory lyrics rather than storytelling lyrics. So if you want to learn, if you're a musician out there and you want to get some inspiration for how to tell a good story, listen to the singles, the best hits that Kenny put out. Listen to the deep cuts too, and you'll realize that when it comes to telling a story, that really is one of the best examples that you could have. Rest in peace. We love you, Kenny Rogers. Like, subscribe. We will see you next time. Take care.